wasn't the I was very pleased actually. I wasn't the only person that couldn't get there.
You were not. There was a lot of extra adventures that people had to get there or not come at all. So you
Mm,
weren't alone in the fact that Berlin runway closing down and
yeah.
not functional for the best part of a day impacted. We had people flying from the UK to Brussels and then trying to hire cars to get to Berlin.
Mm,
I know Pat ended up in Frankfurt and had to get a train. Daniel Chafee in Hanover, he had to stay the night there and then get a train, and
mm.
lots of hiring of cars and trains and stuff like that. So
But as I spoke to Henrik earlier this morning, and as he quite rightly put, like the power of community and people wanting to get there was just on display completely. And Pier Paolo
yeah.
from Fitness Jeans has written something on LinkedIn this morning, which is quite telling and quite lovely.
hmm But it's like the erg shop guys came, I think it
Mm,
was, and they managed to get there Saturday afternoon in the end. I think, was it 70 hours of travel or something horrific, but they still made it.
I
So
did.
that says a lot, really.
Yeah, yeah. Flo and Matt,
Yeah,
they're
they're great.
hardcore. Yeah. But yeah, all good. But yeah, it looked like it went really bloody well, and on Friday it could have quite easily gone a different direction, but the team pulled
Yeah,
together and the power of everyone being there was just awesome to see from afar.
yeah, absolutely. Because I was driving there and I got a message from Henrik asking me to do the mastermind session because the person doing the mastermind was definitely not going to make it. And he was hoping that since I was driving, I could do it. And I did it. And honestly, at that moment in time, we didn't know how many people would actually turn up for the whole weekend because
Mm,
there was just so many people. And then slowly but surely, we heard people were on trains, they were in cars, they were gone, they'd met other people and banded together to rent cars and stuff. So, yeah, it was a big
brilliant.
effort.
How cool is that, eh? All cool is that.
Very.
Um, Excellent. So we'll talk about Coaches Congress, obviously.
Yeah.
For anyone, so I'm a new coach or I'm new to this whole YouTube thing and I don't have Instagram and I'm like, oh, what is Coaches Congress? As a frequent attendee,
Mhm.
exhibitor, talker, speaker, influencer in that space, what is Coaches Congress, Farran?
Coaches Congress is a chance for coaches and owners to come together and really learn from each other and connect and create friendships, but also maybe learn more about what they can do. They can try it differently, whether it's their coaching or their business and stuff, but also confirm that what they're already doing is pretty good. Yeah. Because I spoke to a lot of people it was their first time at the event and they were like, oh my gosh, Michelle Letendre is talking about all these things and I'm doing a lot of them already. I'm like going, yeah, you're already a pretty good coach. Maybe you didn't have the words to explain it, yeah, or the underlying framework to understand why it works, but you're already a pretty good coach or business owner. So the Coaches Congress is a 2-day event filled with speakers and workshops, and the speakers is everything from um, marketing to Pat Fellner gave a talk about, performance athletes as such. We had logistics to designing your gym, choosing where your gym should be located, and understanding maybe it's best to put your rig here and not put your rig over there. Really informative thing. These are moments where you go, oh my God, there's somebody who actually nerds out about this topic and
Yeah.
is going to give me the crib notes, the cheat sheet about how
Mm,
to do this well. There was pregnant postpartum, there were split jerk workshops, there was LSIT workshops, there were workouts you could take part in. Gym Sync were there showing off, torturing people with some burpees and some rowing and things like that. Eric
uh,
Shot were there as well, so you could try that out. There were shoes you could win. There was lots of obviously, Nocco and Fit Aid and stuff like that you can consume. But most of all, it's a chance to connect with other people in the space and to realize you're not alone. Yeah, you're not the only one doing this because often if you're a gym owner or you're a coach, it can feel like that we're on an island and there's no one else understands us. And maybe we go home and our partner's like, but what are you complaining about? You know,
Uh,
this was your dream. You should be enjoying it. And then
mm,
suddenly to feel seen and heard by other people in the same space can make such a big difference. So that was a big long-winded thing of going, it's a chance just to get together and compare
yeah,
notes and to learn from
yeah,
each other. So
yeah. It's an excuse to get together with people that you're the same, really. Ad. Um,
yeah.
it's funny you say the word island because I was going to give an example of this. On the Isle of Man where I live, we've got 5 gyms, all
Mhm.
connected through coaches and a love for CrossFit and that kind of thing. Here he is, the man. Hey, hey, hey,
Hi,
hey.
Henrik.
We've got 5 gyms on the island, and all of us are connected. We've all got a WhatsApp group. We all talk about. We share the same programming, and it's all really cool. But over the last few years, for one reason or another, well, I guess as we've grown our own communities individually, there's been a little bit of a drift, only a slight drift, but a little bit of a
Mhm.
drift. We had our first group meeting in Starbucks on Sunday for the first time in probably about a year, and it was awesome. It was
Mhm.
you forget the value of coming together with people and the questions that were coming up, and those light bulb moments where you go, you see people smiling when Dan, who's the owner of the original gym that's from 2012, Dan and Erin, they're all their idea to bring this all back together again. Um,
Mhm.
Proper OGs. They would say something or make a suggestion or say that they'd had something come up that they needed to address. You'd see all of the other like 4 gym owners or 5 because there's one that's got 2,
Yeah.
a little smile creep on and then a nod, and it's like, yeah, oh yeah, like we had to deal with that as well. And it's like
Mhm.
you come together and you share these ideas and realizing that you're on the same bloody journey as each other. Why not
Yes.
share it, you know?
Yeah, and some gym in Austria had exactly the same problem as you, and they found a solution. And you go, God, that solution might work for me as well. I don't have to
Mm,
reinvent the wheel. I can
yeah.
use stuff that other people have done as well. And I think it's even the small things like um, even if you're talking about programming and mayhem, HWPO proven, and people are comparing notes and what they do and what they don't do. And it's that simple sharing of information makes us all better off as such. Yeah.
Mm,
That we're getting this knowledge that has already been developed by somebody else. And we're not just getting the knowledge, we're getting it in a way that is actionable so that this is somebody going, well, I've done this. It's not just like going, this is a framework, follow the framework. No, they're like going, no, but I made the changes here in these type of warm-ups because of this. I'm like, oh,
mm.
so
And it's a hill I'll die on. I firmly believe that the affiliate owners and head coaches of the gym, of the affiliates, are the biggest influencers in CrossFit. I think they hold the key to everything. They're the ones with the most amount of power because as a band of people, they do hold all the power. They're the transistors. They're the people that
mhm.
take this and give it to the end users. They're the people that directly do that. So I think they by default are the biggest influencers. And we we see ourselves as a service provider, obviously much more than that. But at the gym level, at the affiliate, we talk about community. We talk about coming together, sharing, sharing this adventure, being in a group of people, being in a group environment,
Mhm.
high fiving, being community events. Are you doing that with your equals, with the people on your, on
Exactly.
parity with you, the other affiliate owners? Are you sharing in that? And I do believe that that's something that has kind of maybe gone amiss over the last 10 years. And one of
Mhm.
the reasons why there's not that bonding between some affiliate owners and others, and Coaches Congress is one of those times where you
Yeah.
realize,
Yeah, and I think you're right, Jake. But I think for a long time, and COVID really didn't help either. But there was a
uh,
lot of gyms and coaches, operating from scarcity. Yeah, worried, somebody's going to take an idea or their coaches or whatever it might be. But it's like we tell our members we're stronger together. We should
yeah,
demonstrate that as well. Yeah, one of the 6, things we should be doing as a coach is demonstrate, and that's not just demonstrate movement. It's demonstrating what we expect from our members. We expect our members to be curious and to want to learn and want to progress and want to connect with other members in the box. So why don't we expect that from ourselves? Why don't we demonstrate that to
yeah,
others? Anyway, there.
yeah. No, it's true, and as I said, there's a lot of parities between what we tell the members to do and what we expect them to do, and what we should be doing as well at our kind of, not level, that we're not above them, but I mean in our corner.
Yeah.
We need to be doing as well. And we tell people not to compare their results to others. Don't put your performance in your lane in their workout to other people. You can compare, you can contrast, you can see how well you've done, but in no way should what they're doing impact your performance in the gym at Fran, let's say. Like John next to you in the lane, him doing Fran, he might beat you, but he doesn't have any impact on what you're doing in your lane for your workout. Same with running an affiliate. Like it's the same thing. There's a lot of comparisons to be made there, but overall, out of 10, would it be 12 or 13 out of 10 for you, Coaches Congress Berlin?
Oh, I don't think it's even on a scale as such. You cannot, until you've been there, you cannot appreciate the impact it has on you. You really can't, because, and this is what I love at the end of it. I often get messages on Instagram going, "Oh wow, da da da," and it's just like sparking seeds, creating connections and stuff like that. Like the MasterCard ad, for this, for the actual maybe price of the Congress, you have MasterCard, but for the rest, it's priceless. You cannot put a price on it. But yeah, obviously 12, 13, 100 out of 10, whatever. Yeah. Go. Even if there isn't a Coaches Congress, and this is what I want to even if there's not a Coaches Congress somewhere near you or you can attend it, does not stop you going out and connecting with other coaches and gym owners at all. Yeah. As you said yourself, you can go meet up in your local coffee shop, compare notes. Yeah. Invite them around for a workout and have a cup of coffee afterwards. Go out and connect. But that's what Henrik and his family and his team have really set up, a really wonderful environment to allow people to connect, and to encourage them to connect and to make it normal to connect.
No, for sure. It's you see it a lot in our space, especially in CrossFit, and people understand that it's incrementally, if it rising tides, if you help other people, it helps the whole ecosphere. It helps everyone in what we do. So why not add value rather than sit back and complain or moan? If you see a gap, if you see a challenge, if you see something that you think's missing or needs addressing, get after it. Go and do it.
Yeah.
Don't wait for someone else. And what the biggest thing that I found when I was in Twickenham was the amount of light bulb moments, just like when I'm doing an induction or on ramp or foundations, whatever you want to call it at the gym. You see those light bulbs like, oh, I can do that. And then the notebook comes out and or the text to the gym owner, we can do this.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. And what I love is that they have a 3-2-1 rule there. Go make 3 friends, 2 business personal development goals, 1 long-term, 1 short-term, and 1 action you're going to take the day you get back. So this is not just something that is, you're sitting there just taking on all this knowledge. That's not the idea of this. The idea is that you're going to take this and you're going to put it into practice. It's like, I can tell you 100 cues for the deadlift, but until you actually do the deadlift, we're not going to see how it went. So,
yeah,
same
exactly.
idea.
Yeah, my wife's a swim, or she was before we had the baby, swim coach. And the equivalent of that is someone saying, I want to learn to swim, but I need to learn to swim on the side of the pool before I get in the water. It's like, no. We've got methods, we've got scaling options, we've got ways to get you to learn in the pool, but you're gonna have to get in the pool to actually get fit. The whole, I need to get fit first. It's the same with affiliate owners and coaches. You don't just have to, you don't do the work and then build on it. You can build on it whilst you're learning. You can do that.
The example I always give is, thanks, Marta. The example I always give is about riding a bike, because I live in the Netherlands now, so I can share this one. I moved to the Netherlands, can't really ride a bike. So, okay, if I go and read a book about riding a bike, if I go read a book about winning the Tour de France, and I go read a book about fixing bikes, what's going to happen when I get on the bike? I'm going to fall off. I have to pick myself up and I have to do it again and again and again. And it's the reps that count. It's putting it into practice that counts.
Well, to quote you, real world experience. That's one of your 3 kind of tenets of
Yeah.
coaching gatherings. So, yeah, speaking of, right, so Martin,
Wow.
his
Yeah.
comment for people that are listening on Spotify, because we upload all these to Spotify. From Martin, Farran, don't underestimate your own coaches' gatherings. Even if it's just a couple of hours in an afternoon, it puts people together in a fun and relaxed way.
Mm-hmm.
So, Farran, tell us
Explain.
about coaches' gatherings, please.
Okay, so coaches gatherings, I started up, I think about 3 or 4 years ago now. We're on our 14th one is coming up soon. And it is an afternoon, 3 hours on a Saturday or a Sunday. It's held in a CrossFit box. We come together, we do a warm up, we do a couple of workshops hosted by different coaches, coaches who are nerds about the topic and they want to share it with others.
Yeah.
Then we do, a couple of design exercises, we do a workout together, and then a couple of round tables, chats with each other. Yeah. But the idea is they're free. Everyone donates their time for this with the understanding that you go there with an open mind and you go there to connect as such.
Yeah.
And what's great is it gives coaches the opportunity to just show what they're good at and what they're nerdy at. So, for example, we've had workshops on everything from spotting high skills gymnastic movements to bracing in the pelvic floor, to rowing to the curve, like on your erg ski and stuff. Running, we had a pose running workshop. I mean, how many coaches have been to a running workshop in their lives? But there was a coach who's really dived deep into the pose running method, and she shared that with us, and she shared her passion. And these are all little things where you go, not only do you get knowledge that is practical, that you can apply in your own coaching, but you also get more energy from coming into contact with passionate coaches, people who love what they're doing. Yeah. And when we're all and we all have the moments when our batteries are low and we're wondering, why are we doing this? And why are we getting up on the floor again? And I have to teach the class again. And then through these gatherings, you're reminded of why we're doing this, and that truly deep down, this is what you love to do. So,
yeah. It's funny, the being vulnerable as an experienced coach is really tough. And one way of doing that is learning a new sport or being a beginner at something. And it's really important. And Erin, who is the owner at the CrossFit gym here, she recently took up jiu-jitsu, and like the first week of it, she was petrified. Even though her husband Dan has been doing it for 10 years, it was brand new. She didn't know what to do. And it reminded her, and it was kind of like a reminder of, this is how it feels to be new at something that is very, very physical and daunting. And it's really important to do that, but also the vulnerability, the offering up of you being a beginner or not knowing something or admitting that you don't know something is really bloody important for your own development. Getting rid of that ego and seeing it as an opportunity to get better at something, because the best coaches are the ones that, one, have coaches themselves, but two, that are continuously learning. They're striving to get better, just like the best athletes. They go after what they can't do. They look for gaps in what they are unable to do to fill those gaps, rather than just doing what pleases them or they're good at.
I would say they get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what we tell our members to do on the gym floor.
But this, we're going back again and again to demonstration. If we expect this from our members, and we expect our members to improve, and expect our members to work at threshold and things like that, as coaches, we need to do that as well. Because otherwise, what are we doing?
Yeah, for sure. And that was one thing that I walked away from Twickenham, and I spoke to John and Steve about this a lot at the time. I walked away and I was sometimes I have an ego. Sometimes it's rare, but I do have one.
Never, Jake, never.
When I came away from Coaches Congress, I felt like I was genuinely in a space where I could be vulnerable. I didn't have to have an ego, and I could learn and walk away with some real, true inspiration and ideas to progress myself without thinking, damn it, I should have been doing that, or oh, people know that I'm not good at something. It's Oh, awesome. Like I get to,
Yeah.
I found something that I can get better at and enjoy doing.
I think that's a very good point. It gives us permission. And
Yeah.
in front of our classes, when we're coaching or as a business owner, you have to at least give the impression that you know what you're doing, you have their best interests in heart as such, and not to worry, you'll get them to the end and they leave and satisfied and go home in one piece. And so often we forget that, so we're hiding our vulnerability maybe. And often we forget that it's okay to be vulnerable. And that's where Henrik and his team has done an amazing job of creating a space where you can be vulnerable and nobody expects you to know everything about everything.
No.
At all. And there are some, I mean, and as I was saying about the gym design and stuff like that, there are people who have spent their lives nerding out on the topics they're sharing. I'm not, in no way have any idea of even what he thinks is basic common sense because he's been in that world for so long. Yeah. And there's so many speakers who have nerded out for so long on their topic and are so passionate about their topic that there's always something to learn from them.
So this is really interesting because we had a conversation. So owner and head coach of AOD, who like develop elite athletes, Harry Lightfoot's coaches basically. Yeah. Harry Keane, who's he went to Loughborough and did sport at Loughborough. He's an incredibly switched on. He's been to the games as a team athlete. And he's a gym owner at Blueprint in Worcester. So he's a really experienced, awesome, very well educated, switched on guy that's very successful in our space. We talked last week because he made a statement on a show with Steve on the Defiant show the week before, saying at the elite level, if your coach says, I don't know, or I don't know how to do that, or I'm going to pass you on to someone that knows how to do it, you need a new coach. He thinks at the elite level that you're, as a coach in the elite CrossFit world, you should know everything that we do and how to relay that to people. And the reason I went on a show with him this week was because it caught me off guard when I heard it. And I was like, I don't agree with that. I don't know if it's possible to be at that level. And over the course of it, we agreed that it's a very different position to be. And it's something I know nothing about. I haven't got a clue how to be an elite level coach for CrossFit. I don't know how to do that. I can coach everyone on the gym floor. It doesn't matter whether you're a games athlete or a beginner. Like I will know how to coach on the gym floor. I will tick all the boxes in the gym floor with room for growth. Obviously, I'm not perfect, but that's my domain. But I still wasn't sold on the idea that you could know everything, that you could be the be all and end all as a coach. And my question off the back of that for you is a bit of a left field question, and there might not be an answer here. Is who do you think does CrossFit the best? Affiliate coaches or games coaches?
So looking at CrossFit as a methodology for health and longevity, it has to be the affiliate coaches because they're the ones who are focused on health and longevity and not necessarily in the moment performance. Yeah. If you look at constantly varied functional fitness, high intensity, that's not what games athletes do.
No.
Not in their training.
No.
Yeah. And I would also argue, and I can understand why he said an elite coach should know everything. But I would also argue that Shane Orr also looked for expertise in helping Tia postpartum.
Right. Yeah. Good
Yeah.
shout.
I think it's back. Yeah, I think it's back to understanding your scope of practice. And there are certain things outside our scope of practice where we really do need to get experts involved in helping us understand. And maybe they don't have to be involved directly, and we need to educate ourselves more or something like that. But you can't know everything up front.
Yeah. You can't, can you? this always brings me back to the sickness, wellness, fitness continuum. And I know people are bored of hearing me bang on about it, but I'm nerding out about it. Like you've put, I'm obsessed with that SWF. Like, and the reason this channel was called the Continuum, that the reason the Continuum was so massively influential and important with the methodology is that we are pushing people from sickness into wellness into fitness, and fitness equals health.
Yeah.
And by definition, the games came about to test who the healthiest people were, because they would therefore, by logic, be the fittest. But at some point, there's a tipping point there where they're not the healthiest for longevity. Because what we're talking about here is
may not be the healthiest for longevity.
Yeah,
we're not sure.
It may not be, but if we're saying that the affiliate owners know the method, the affiliate coaches understand the longevity, and we're coaching the longevity and health at the gym floor, but yet the games athletes are the pinnacle of what you can achieve if you do this. There has to be that there's a separation there of what the games athletes are doing and the continuum now. They're not on the continuum anymore.
And this is an interesting discussion about health and fitness. And fitness is like in a moment, work capacity over time. But health is over lifetime as well. And it's also all the other signals that show us that we're healthy. Blood pressure and weight and things like that. They are on the continuum as such, but they might not be the healthiest on the continuum.
So there's
they
people
are there. Everybody's on it.
Yeah. So there's people at the affiliate that are further along the continuum than the games athletes.
I would argue probably may have longevity, more longevity, or more. I see it as, you're creating a buffer for yourself as you age. Yeah. And it could be that people in the affiliates have created a better buffer for themselves.
Right.
In order to be, 90 years of age and still picking up the grandkids. Could be. The thing is, CrossFit hasn't been around that long. It's I think, was it 25 years ago today was the first workout?
I was going to say, happy CrossFit Day.
Yeah, happy CrossFit Day. But it was so we don't truly see what the impact is for somebody in their 90s who has been doing this for 40, 50 years.
No.
We don't know yet.
No, especially not the elite level. Well, Bill Grundler's getting there. But,
maybe. But if you look at the recent what happened in the Olympics recently with this female skier and stuff like that, like how far would an elite athlete push themselves?
Yeah.
That's the other question.
So,
but that's where I think the sport of CrossFit is a very important thing to showcase what can happen when somebody is trained for the unknown and unknowable. Yeah, in a general sense.
Yes.
But it is one. Hello. It is one. Hi, Heather. It's only one tiny little part of what happens in an affiliate and what coaches have to deal with in an affiliate. Because as coaches and affiliates, we don't just deal with the people who can do the movements or are learning the movements. We're dealing with the people who have maybe chronic health problems or, they are unable for whatever reasons, physical reasons, to ever do the movement. What do we do then?
Yeah, precisely. And this, sorry, I didn't want to bring it up on the screen, but this is the graphical representation of health throughout their life. That's where the continuum falls short for me anyway. But it's something that I can't let go of, and I'm like, I've got a bit of OCD about the continuum. I keep talking about it and keep bringing it out because I haven't yet found out the answer for it. Because to answer Sean's question, yes, we always said that fitness equals health. Like if you go on the continuum, that's what that meant. So, but over the years, it's become different, just like a different thing. So,
yeah. No, exactly. And I think as we go further in how CrossFit, functional fitness and stuff impact people in the long term, and there's more understanding of it, I think we'll probably find the definitions CrossFit have are pretty much there.
Yeah.
Just maybe might need some nuance later on, but they're like, I'd say 98% of the way there.
Yeah. Because like I think I'm the same age as Jason Khalipa. I'm pretty sure I am. I think he's my age, 40, 41. He's not in bad nick, but he won the games and he was a games athlete. So he's who I compare myself to in terms of, am I healthy? Am I living for longevity? So I'm going to keep my eye on him. He doesn't know it. He doesn't know it, but I'm keeping my eye on him.
But this is the other thing. There are so many more factors than just, the training we're doing. If we look at, we have to look at nutrition. We have to look at sleep. We have to look at, our whole big picture recovery. Daily stress that we have.
Yes.
That also has a huge impact.
Yeah. That that was one of the things I was going to ask you about with regards to coaching on the gym floor. How important is nutrition to you as a coach when you're on the gym floor?
That's a very good question, because for me, recovery nutrition, that is the foundation that everything else is built on. So if people aren't fueling their bodies, I never call nutrition like a diet or anything like that. It's like, okay, this is about fueling your body for what we need to do. And sometimes, I have somebody coming into a class and I go, well, what have you eaten today? And they're like, a banana. And it's like 9 p.m. at night. I'm like, yeah, this is not a good idea. So, but I think we need to be curious. And this is also back to our scope of practice. We need to understand as coaches how nutrition impacts performance in the moment in the day, but also longevity.
Yeah.
I mean, meat, nuts, handful of whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever all the quotes are, we also need to understand that when it comes to nutrition, there is so much information and misinformation out there. Yeah. That sometimes we do have to help our members navigate what they hear and what they see, whether it is on supplements or, the trend of paleo or whatever it was back 10 years ago. We have to help them navigate it.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I've heard a few people recently and they've jumped on the carnivore wagon, which is great, and it works for them and it's awesome. I couldn't do it. I don't have the willpower to do it or the need. But whenever I hear them talking, every damn one of them sounds like they're on morphine. They're really slow and there's no excitement and they're talking like this. And that got me thinking, that's probably how we should be talking. That's probably how, as a species, that's probably how we're baseline. That's how we're supposed to be. But with all the excitement, with all the adrenaline, with all the blue light, with all the sugar in our diets, with all the and stimulation, they're probably correct. They're probably how we should be talking. Not that it's better, but but no. So another thing that I've been looking at this week, and I think I know where I sit with it, but I want to get your take on this.
Okay.
And I feel bad that I've said this over the last few years, and it all stemmed from COVID. So I'm going to blame COVID for this, not myself, right? But I feel a little bit guilty. The phrase, as long as they're moving. As long as they're moving. Right. I don't know how many times I've said that since 2020, as long as they're moving. Now, as you know, like I'm reading up for my L3 and I'm studying, and I need to pick up with you about that on offline. The more that I get reminded of what CrossFit is, the more events that I go to, the more education I get, the more people I listen to talking, the more athletes that I hear, the more performance-based stuff I hear. It's not right. I fundamentally disagree with as long as they're moving. Or as a standalone statement. There's caveats to that. If it's the beginning or the end of a bigger picture, then great. But as long as they're moving, it's the direct opposite of CrossFit.
Yeah, but I think we need to recognize that you can't go from 0 to 100 miles per hour, 100 kilometers an hour in one go. And people get scared to come to CrossFit gyms because they think they have to. And if we can celebrate, you're moving, you're starting your journey. So I'm guilty of, at least they're moving.
Yeah.
But with, as you said, the caveat that that's just with the hope that that's just the start of their journey, that they begin to fall in love with movement again. Because everyone moved, most people moved as a kid. And then it was through various systems, and that's a whole discussion for another day. It was taken away from us, that love and passion for movement.
Yeah.
And so people go, "Are you afraid of high rocks or whatever?" I was like, of course not. They're moving. Yeah. And you know what? They're going to get that kick, that rush, the adrenaline thing, and realize, oh, movement is for me. Yeah. Completely agree. It's only a bit of movement, if you look at CrossFit methodology and health and longevity, is not going to be good enough to give yourself a buffer.
Yeah.
But it's a start.
It is, but it's kind of one of those where I'm worried people are going to latch onto that part of the statement as long as they're moving, and just latch onto that and just keep with that rather than see it as a stepping stone. Or
then let's change it slightly.
Yeah.
As long as they've started to move.
There we go. That's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I was starting to move. All right, I'll add that into my. I'll add that into my sentence. I'd say. What was my next question going to be? Right. Oh, talking of the L3, right? So I'm reading up for my L3, which I've got in May.
Yeah.
I saw something come up, and I know that you may know something about this. Dave Castro started talking about it the other day on one of his shows. If you don't already, listeners, if you don't already subscribe to his channel, go to Dave Castro's YouTube channel. He does a weekly review where he talks about all things HQ, new for the gym floor, and that kind of thing. So really worth checking out. He started talking about the new L4, which was the first I'd heard about it.
Okay.
Are you okay to kind of talk about it a bit?
Absolutely. So I'll share what I know. I've essentially just over a year and 3 months ago, they shut down the level 4 as they had it. And the level 4 as they had it was an assessment where you turned up to a gym that you don't coach at, and you have to coach 2 classes. Yeah, they tell you up front they tell you, I think, an hour beforehand or so many hours beforehand what the workouts are, 24 hours beforehand what the workouts are. You have to prepare it, you get assessed, and you're told pass, fail a few days later. That was it. In Europe, there's only a handful of CrossFit level 4s. Most of them had to go to the States to get assessed as such, because that's where CrossFit was offering it at the time. And they realized it just wasn't working for anybody. It wasn't working for CrossFit to get a good high level or recognition of high level coaching, and it wasn't working for coaches in an understanding how to get to that high level of coaching as such. And so what they've done is they've spent the last just over a year reworking the CrossFit level 4. And what they announced a couple of weeks ago, and that they released last week, is that it is going to be more of a mentorship part to start with, and then you have your assessment, all done now by video. So you have to record yourself coaching. So how it's set up is that you're going to have an initial assessment. So you video a class. They have requirements around the class, what type of class, how many people are in it. What obviously there's no running, because if you put a 5K run as your class and all the members are gone for most of the class, it doesn't really show them much about your coaching. So there's assessment and self-assessment, and then you get a mentor as such. And this mentor will support you through your journey. You will follow some online material that goes even deeper into the TQC, correcting, demonstrating presence and attitude, group management, and even a couple more details than that. Lesson planning, programming, stuff like that. You have to follow that content, and you have to submit more videos to your mentor. Yeah, so you're showing improvement. And then after all of that, then you have an assessment. And the assessment is not through your mentor, but with somebody else. This process they think will take maybe 2 or 3 months, depending how long it takes you to go through the self-study material. But it is a very big change from what they had before of this just test moment. And I think what they've now introduced really is of great benefit to the CrossFit coaching community, because now people know it's not just a pass fail, but I'm going to be supporting them in getting there where they want me to be.
Yeah.
As such. And if you fail, you have a couple of chances to redo it and stuff like that. But it is more in line with what coaching is about, you know, because it's not just evaluating somebody, it's going, okay, let's see where you are. Let's see if we can get you where we need you to be. And we want to support you on that journey.
Great. Excellent. And I love the idea that they're accounting for, rather than someone just having a really good day or a really bad day on the assessment. Because for me, and this is going to be my next question, for me, that's the worry about the L3 exam, is that there's nothing prior. You go in, you check in at the Pearson view, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Get your pencil or whatever it is. You go into a secured room, and you sit at a computer screen and you answer a load of questions over a 4-hour period, and then you get a sheet saying you've passed or you failed, and that's that.
Yeah. If you fail now, you're informed of what sections you fail.
Right. Okay. Was that not a thing before then? Was that
no?
You just got told yes or no? Right. Okay. Well, that makes a difference then. Do you think there's opportunity for them? Because from the way that I see it is that you said yourself, there's a handful of L4s in Europe. So this process is going to be for X amount of people that are at the tip of the spear of coaching. They're the best of the best. They're like Men in Black. They're like, they're Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones.
Do they have the device to wipe everybody's memories?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way I see it. Yeah. I would have thought that the number of people doing the L3, and I might have just answered my own question there, they wouldn't necessarily be able to offer the mentorship program like they are doing for the L4 with the L3 purely because of the number of people doing the L3.
Well, I think it's an interesting discussion, because Dave's already said it a couple of times that if they had to go back to the drawing board, they'd swap the L3 and the L4 around. So they'd make the level 3 the more practical side of things. Right. To make sure the coach, and then the theory part was like the icing on the cake type thing. Okay. Now, and the interesting thing about the L3 is it's about your understanding of the methodology and your application of the methodology. And so the only mentorship that could be involved there is just talking through what you believe is the methodology. And then it's a fine line of, is this preparing you for a test? Or is this helping you understand the methodology deeper? And that's always a discussion point when it comes to, when you test through multiple choice and not through continuous assessment or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that. I see the value in that. And I do see that the L3, this may well be where the understanding of what the L3 is probably isn't deeply ingrained in my head yet. The way that I see it is a progression from the L2 towards commendation of saying, right, you are a CrossFit L3 coach because we know that you know what we're on about. You're refining your craft, and your understanding of what we are trying to do in the gyms is getting much better now. You're at another level up. And then the L4 is like the elite of the elite. They're the Men in Black. I get that. I just don't like exams.
No, I know, and I get it. And to be honest, a lot of people in our sector came into the sector because we don't like exams.
Yeah.
But I like to reframe it as, okay, it is, yes, it sounds daunting, 4 hours, and you have to read, 100 whatever articles and things like that. I know, but I will keep reiterating, it is not a knowledge test. Maybe there's a couple of questions that are real knowledge questions, but it's application tests. Can you apply it to coaching situations? That's what it is. And if you have been coaching for a number of years, and on top of that, reflecting on your coaching and curious, how can I get better? Then it's going to be relatively doable. And if you're reading the articles and you're thinking, okay, what does this mean to me as a coach? And what does this mean for my members? And maybe I should try this out with my members. If that's the approach you take, as opposed to I need to learn what's in this article because I'm going to be tested on it, then that's the whole point of this level 3 assessment, is to check the application side of things.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do appreciate it's daunting, the idea of when you see that list of articles you have to read, and you have to sit down, as you said, locked in a room. I had to take my whoop off me when I did it, because you can't even bring a water bottle in with you. They check your wrists, they check there's no notes in your socks. So proper testing center. Yeah, it is good. But I think it's not. It's like signing up to the Open, your first one. You're not too sure what it's going to be like. You're like, oh, this could go horribly wrong or whatever, and you do it, and maybe it wasn't a good workout for you, but you did it, and you learned something from it one way or the other.
Yeah. That's good. Do you know I found over the last few weeks I've been doing something, and you might not like this.
Go on, Jake.
I found a way to have an exam sort of style environment for the L3. Now, there are protocols and there are copywriting issues that aren't being stopping this from happening fully, and it's a really good method, or a block that they've got in here. But I sat with this microphone talking to ChatGPT, and they're not allowed. They don't have access to the questions. They don't know any of the L3 questions, so there's no knowledge there. But I went through it, and I basically refined it down to a point where ChatGPT was using the L1 and the L2 manual that were online on the website. And it was asking me application questions of how to apply that study work in a real life situation. And I would talk to it, give my answer, and then it would give me feedback as to whether it was right or wrong.
Look how the world is changing, Jake.
Yeah. The only problem with that is ChatGPT is always like clapping on the back and saying, yeah, you're the best. And it was like,
good job.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, that's great. What you could also say is da 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 da. So yeah, it was, I found it a lot more, because I'm a lot more interactive with shit rather than sitting down and reading. I don't learn that way. I'm very visual or audio. Yeah.
Now, maybe this is something you can have a chat with Andy and Gareth about, because I know Wesley, the country manager of Benelux, and Nat, the country manager of España, they had study groups where people could get together and chat about the articles and understand them. Yeah. Yes. And maybe Gareth and Andy, I did them in the past. I'm sure maybe the recordings are still there, but it's worthwhile. Because I know Wesley and Nat did this because they recognize that not everybody reads information and easily takes it in. Sometimes we need to chat about things.
Yeah. That's a great shout. And again, like we said earlier, if we see a gap or we see a problem, we need to be a solution and try and find it. So, Mark, great question. I'll let Farran answer that one, because
is it coursework for the level 4 or the level 3?
I think he might mean L3, sorry. 3, yeah.
3. There is a list of articles that you can get through the candidate handbook, and they are indicative of the knowledge you need to have and be able to apply, if that helps. Yes. The level 4, the coursework they've just released it. Nobody's been through it yet publicly, and I'm pretty sure they can't share it yet. So, but I do understand that there's online material that you follow, like the judges course, like their online courses that they have already for the level 4. I hope that answers your questions, Mark.
Right. I'm just loading up. Oh, both. Yeah.
The handbook.
The candidate handbook, but it might take a little while to load up. So, Farran, you're with Virtuous Coach Development. Is there anything you offer for L3 prep or that kind of thing?
There is not directly. However, happy to chat as such with anybody, because I think when it comes to the L3, a lot of it is also figuring out how you best apply the information. There are L3 prep courses out there. There are. But I mainly support people in what happens on the floor and changing behavior as such. So it's not, I'm not really I'm a knowledge person, but I'm not really about transmitting knowledge or preparing for a test. Sorry, Jake. Can't help you directly. So
I totally get that. And, you know, it like your name, you know, says virtuous. We need to do this with virtuosity. We there's no loopholes. There's no the reason I want my L3 is to be a better coach and to know, and for clarification, that I do know the methodology and that I can apply it well. I don't want to have loopholes. I don't want to find a cheat code. I don't want to, you know, find a way through it, because we know better. CrossFitters know better than anyone. You get found out. Like if you skip your reps, it's all on you. You lose out. So we're hard workers by default. That's what we do.
Yeah. Oh, look, you have a Farran time of 2:14. How are those thrusters?
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. So this is the I don't know if I can. Oh yeah. So this is the candidate handbook that we get. So I'm just going to skip through it. Introduction about it. Scope of practice. So Mark, in answer to your question, you get this kind of like, was it Mark that asked?
Yes, Mark. Yes.
You know, about what you get beforehand, and then I think at the end there's the links. It might be there's links
at the end of the link.
Right. Okay. So yeah, the links, and you get your bits and bobs about where to go and where the information is and all that kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, so that's that.
But all the information is available free online. So you don't have to buy anything to look at the handbook and look at the articles, things like that.
Yeah. I believe Mark's just sending me a message. But no, all good. So what's next for you, Farran? What have you got lined up? Have you got anything kind of events or coaching coming up?
Yeah, actually lots of events. So I have doing some stuff for different CrossFit countries in the coming weeks and months, but I will be doing one for CrossFit UK and Ireland. I think it's the 13th of April, where we're digging deeper into member experience. It'll be the second part of a discussion we had already before Christmas, but you don't need to have attended the first part. And it's like, how can we as coaches deliver an exceptional member experience? And then how can we support our coaches developing those skills to deliver an exceptional member experience? And people can sign up through the affiliate toolkit. This is the second thing. Coaches. The affiliate toolkit is not just for affiliate owners. It is also for coaches, because in there's everything from programming to teaching movement to events you can attend as a coach. Yeah. So go get your login and make sure your owner has signed you up as a coach in their box, because it is what CrossFit have been doing these last months is moving the stuff from their YouTube channel, but organizing it better within the affiliate toolkit. So it's easy to find all their deadlift information in one spot, as opposed to trying to click through 100 different playlists to find it. So that would be maybe my call to action for, CrossFit coaches. Go log in, get access to the toolkit, go see what's in there. Yeah. So if you go down a bit, Jake, so Jake's just showing us the affiliate toolkit there. The last one on the right-hand side is member experience. So you click on that, you can sign up, and we can have a session together on Zoom. I have local coaches gatherings and things like that, but I have ongoing courses as such that people can join if they're interested in. Either if they they want to improve their own coaching, or they want to improve the coaching of others. There's something for everybody. So just, reach out, chat to me. I don't bite.
There we go. Monday, the 13th of April.
There we go.
Amazing. There she is. Look at that. Awesome. And that the speakers, so yourself, Andy, and Gareth will be hosting that.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I do things for the other countries as well. Because I'm trying to support coaches and affiliate owners outside of America as such, because I think we have a lot that we can learn from each other and gain as such. But yeah, that's the certainly one of the next English language ones that are coming up.
Brilliant. Yeah, that'll be massively, because again, like we've just talked about as a theme of this, if there's gaps, we need to do everything that we can to fill those gaps ourselves, rather than wait around or moan about it, or we need to actually do something about it rather than wait around for people. So Mark's just said he sent me a message. I can't see anything at the moment. So with that, we it's hard not to sound like a moany git when I say all this, right? And this isn't from a place of a lot of what this is, quite rightly, is US based, US centric. A lot of the speaks, a lot of the seminars, a lot of the conversations, it's all US based. And it's our job. And again, part of the reason behind this channel is to try and bring it over to where we are without the complaining and the moaning, and putting it on for people over here, because there's been a space for it. That's the point. Yeah,
exactly. And that's what I try and do, because I mean, the other thing is, European, and I include Britain and Ireland in there, is a different culture to America, North America. It's also a different culture to Canada, South America. We all have different cultures as such. But if we, just like our members, some members, they work with certain type of cues and other members work with other type of cues, we need to be able to refine our messaging to reach out to as many people as possible. And sometimes that does mean putting a cultural lens on it and understand what it means for us in this moment, in where we live with our members.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's what I try and do.
Yeah. And again, it's the same thing why we've got this blanket, and this is going to be such a good segue to what I was going to bring up finally. Mark, I haven't got your message, by the way. I'll read it on the next one, on the next show. We have a gold standard, but we have to have a blanket approach for everything. There will be specifics, there will be tangents, there will be scaling options for people. We will have to deviate away from that path on an individual, on a micro level, but on a macro level, for a blanket approach to everything, we have to have a standard. We have to have a conversation. We have to have something that we put forward to everyone that we then refine for the individual.
Yes.
Now, here's what I thought about. I had a dream about this, Farran, and it was really poignant.
Jake, hold on, Jake. Do you really want to be sharing your dreams?
This will show you how boring and vanilla I am, right? So in my dream, this was a really poignant and really cool thing, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm the best." In my dream, CrossFit is the HB pencil of fitness.
You're showing your age now, Jake.
We're the all-rounder. We're the one that people go to. If you want a pencil, here's your pencil, the HB, right? But if you want to specialize, if you want fine line drawing, HB can kind of do it fairly well, but it's not going to be perfect. Or I don't know, the thick ones, whatever they are. But if you want like just drawing like crayons, then go for crayons. But we're the HB. We are the HB of fitness. Was that as poignant? Kind of, yeah. Right. Okay. We'll pop it up there. But Farran, thank you so much for coming on. This is obviously going to be a regular thing for us. And I'll throw this out there again, like I did this morning. I didn't get around to checking for questions, to be honest. Maybe I can save them for next time.
Yeah, but this is where absolutely open for answering questions, or how dealing with things, or what do you do, or whatever it is. Because I think the more we have conversations about what we're challenged with, the more normal it becomes, and the easier it becomes. So,
absolutely. Farran, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure.
And guys, thanks for listening, whether it's in the live or afterwards. Thank you. And send your questions across. Come and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. But make sure you follow us on Instagram for all the updates. But thanks very much for joining us, guys. And we'll see you again next time.